The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the GallowgateShots YouTube channel. We are here in the hottest studio that ever existed. Can you see the sweat dripping down my head already?
Well, I was looking at the
that and your tan line.
yeah, you've got like the best golf cap tan of all time.
So yesterday, I was telling Marcus I went to a flash day at a local tattoo studio.
way.
Where you had to queue up outside.
Top of my road, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So you had to queue up outside. Me and Wallace were the clever ones. We took camping chairs with us because we knew it was going to be a long one. And I was outside for about 3 hours, 2.5, 3 hours. And the sun was bouncing off us on that side of my head, as you can see.
My dad went past and he said, "What's going on at the top of your street?" And I went, "Oh, and I explained this. It's just cheap tattoos, right?
30 quid tattoos, aye.
For whatever you want, within reason."
It's like a flash design. It's like there's like a couple, like
Be a
let's say
page you
100
choose from.
designs that you can pick.
Right.
So
cool.
I also burned me knee.
Clearly.
What, in the sun or on something hot?
Bad,
in the sun, yeah. So I've got a patchy knee. But hi, everybody. As you can see, it is me, Chris, joined by Mark and Decker. Bestie has signed for Chelsea. That's where he is.
We've lost another one.
Well, I mean, he is old enough to be one of the Chelsea pensioners.
Give it another couple of weeks and we will drop off one by one as we all head to Stamford Bridge as well, because that seems to be everything which is happening with football at the moment, Mark. Anybody is interested in a player, look over your shoulder and there's Chelsea coming as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if they've been bending all the rules to fill their coffers and have an abundance of money available to spend.
Which we'll get onto a little bit because there's another Premier League team that has just took advantage. And do you know what it is? I'm not angry at the teams and the clubs themselves. This isn't an issue with the Premier League, really. But we will get onto that later. I am going to start with Pedro Decker, somebody that's been linked, not for the last couple of weeks, but the last few years, really. He's always been on the lips of scouts at Newcastle United. And
underage children, allegedly.
Wow, straight in there.
He's not better, though, is he?
But
not about the young kid. I mean, that we've lost him in the transfer market. Sorry. That sounded bad.
I know, that did sound bad. God.
I did not mean that.
But yeah, Pedro has decided to choose Chelsea over Newcastle United. Why do you think that is, Decker? I know why.
London and money.
Money's.
Yeah, it's frustrating all in it though. Like I'm not gonna. Don't worry, Mark. Don't worry. I'm not gonna start blaming anyone. I'm not gonna start saying it's been a terrible window. But it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I think there's a lot of rumours that went for Bremo. Obviously, he's going to Man United. I'm not saying that was particularly nothing concrete, but there was rumours. This one, without shadow of a doubt, it's been well highlighted that we wanted him, right? We've chased him. Scouts have been getting in touch with other players to talk about him, to find out what he's like as a character, all this type of jargon. And it's just frustrating that now when he's moved or he's about to, he's always wanting to go to Chelsea. He's always wanted to go to London or stay around that area. And I'm like, so why have we wasted my time? Like, why have we wasted my time?
I don't know if it's wasting the time. I think ultimately it comes to a point where you simply can't compete with the money that Chelsea can offer.
Do you think that maybe his agent is sort of pushed him towards us, so then we or bid, and then Chelsea go
100% like this? The stuff in the press would not come out unless
it's a selling
people
club.
Close to the player leak that information out,
well,
because they want to start a bit.
It's probably it's a selling club as well,
100%.
Isn't it? It's 100% Brighton leaking that information, because I hate it when our business gets put in the public light. We saw with Guy last summer. Was it some other January? I can't even remember. Where we just kept on and all the minutes on TalkSport were full of Newcastle putting a bid in, then getting rejected, then going back and forwards. Well, it was turning out similar as well with this one too.
This is what's annoys me with modern football, right? I think I just criticize modern football all the time. You remember back when we were kids, right? And you would hear nothing because there was nothing. Let's be fair, right?
Yeah.
And you turn the news on, and there'd just be flashing lights, and next thing you know, bang, press conference is there.
Yeah.
And it was, them days have gone, right? Because it's just people, and some of it might be absolute bullshit as well, by the way. But to go back to the point, I just think
it's social media and the internet in general,
yeah,
that isn't it? You've got much faster access to the information, whereas you go back, 30 years. It wasn't there at your fingertip. It's literally in your palm of your hand, 24/7.
I also think as well that
my phone.
I watch the same shows every day, right? So I'm as much to blame for this probably. But I'm watching transfer shows every single day, daily transfer shows by the same people talking about transfers. It's literally, and I'm thinking, hang on, there is not that much action happening every day. So they're almost just spewing up the same stuff. They're in talks with Pedro. They've done this, they've done that. The next day is the same. So to us, it feels like this Trafford situation, man. This Trafford situation is going since Keegan left. We've been trying to stand Trafford since Keegan left the first time. But I'm not necessarily. Well, it has been a long time, but it's just because every single time you click on a link, who we're in for is Trafford.
Yeah.
I mean, how long do these talks really take? It took 25 years to get him in.
The thing with Trafford, he was on a podcast, wasn't he, not long ago, and I think he mentioned that the deal was all but done this time last year, and he was expecting to come to Newcastle that last year, and it just didn't happen in the end. And he was absolutely devastated. It looks like that's the one that's going to be the first one over the line. Thanks to
until Chelsea fancy a new
Chelsea are after a new keeper.
Now, if I got blind faith here that I think it'll be okay, is that blind faith? Because let's be very truthful, the last 3 windows or whatever have been disappointing. We haven't been happy. Howe hasn't been happy.
I think it would be.
And I'm almost sitting here with blind faith.
Didn't happen. There'd be questions asked.
Huge.
That would be a major fuck up from our side.
I think if it was the 1st of August tomorrow, as opposed to the 1st of July, then there'd be more serious questions to be asked. But
are you not worried at all, Mark, now?
No, because it literally is. We're coming up to the 1st of July. There is people going to start moving around. We did see it earlier on in the summer because of the additional transfer window that was there. It's always the beginning of July. People start coming back to the club. Preseason training will kick off and stuff like that. And I think that's the bit where Howe is keen. And he talked about obviously at the end of the season of making sure we do with business early. And I think he's focusing on that rather than, well, we need to have them in by the end of May or by June.
Do you not think he'd be slightly disappointed?
In as much as, well, if we're to believe the rumours that we're top target of Pedro and Mbeumo that they were looking to sign.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mbeumo hasn't gone anywhere yet, but it's
all
looking like
he's away. Yeah.
Pedro's done. So I think if they were the ones identified as being the top targets, then he will be disappointed that we haven't got them. But when you then consider the money that's being talked about for Mbeumo going there, the fee that Pedro has, it's £60 million, is a hell of a lot of money.
We offered 50, right?
I think
it was 40, 45 was
I think it was more
the rumours, wasn't
the
it?
wage that you would have demanded, like Mark's mentioned,
the
wage going to Man United. We wouldn't even entertain that digger because it just absolutely blows our wage structure out of the water. And if any player is going to do that, it's going to be Isak, isn't it?
You're right. Yes, I think if you are going to break that wage structure, it's for the players you've already got. I don't think it's for someone coming in.
It's not even going to break it. We can't break it. We can't break it because of the rules that are in place to stop you from doing that. Because of we still can't, because we still won't be able to generate enough revenue as things stand to be able to balance that out versus what your operating costs are with your wages included. If we go out and pay somebody, because I think we're top earners probably around about 150 grand, if that's what we're led to believe. If you're going out and smashing that on a weekly basis, well, it's £5 million straight away.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to sell the Time Bridge to ourselves. I don't know what we can do, but we'll have to get on board with something. We'll have to sort something out. But anyway, I do think I will be annoyed because I still think that press conference he delivered after the last game of the season, when he was straight away saying, "I'm going upstairs. We're going to talk about targets."
Premeditated that.
It felt a bit. I've sat on my hands here and I've been respectful for the last 3 windows, but I feel I need to be back now. And if it is, well, definitely one of them's true, right? If we've lost with 2 top targets, I mean, listen, they'll have a list of names, of course, will, right? And I understand they'll have 3 or 4 names for one position.
And that's why I'm not panicking.
But I will be honest, I didn't want to get 4th on the list every time. Like, I would love to get top
I
target. Like,
I completely agree.
But,
I think it's probably something. I think anyhow, no matter what that result was, last game of the season, if we had got Champions League football, Europa, wherever we had it ended, I think he would have came out and said the exact same thing, no matter what, saying that we want business done quickly. I think he was expecting more at this point. I think,
but why?
Because he's came out and said it.
Yeah, but
if he didn't want that, why would he come out and say it?
I mean, that's what I was saying before, though. But what was the point of we're signing them in May or June when they're not going to be coming to the club until the middle of July?
Because if there is a little bit of money that could possibly be spent, which there is, because we'll put in a bid for Pedro and we'll put one in for Alanga, so there's money to be spent. That money, technically, surely it would drop off when we're going to the next financial year.
It would go on to, obviously up until today, it would go on to that.
So I think,
but we don't know what those figures look like.
Well, I think if clubs have had a little bit of leeway, they kind of need to spend the money before July 1st comes, just so then that 3-year rolling year goes
No, because it won't matter come the next rule.
Well, that's what I mean.
The rules changing.
So it's just dead cash. If not, like if you got some money, you need to spend it. It's dead cash because you can't carry it over. Yes, you can, but then it's going to impact you further down the line. Hence why we've seen what, once again, we'll touch on later, Villa in the struggle last day of June, bang, sell the Williams team because that's their PSI issue solved. There's been a few clubs doing business which have obviously got a bit spare cash lying around where spend it now or it's going to impact in the future. And I think Eddie Howe's wanted, obviously I can't say for certain, but I think he's probably wanted one in the door, like.
But that's what I'm saying.
If I sit with Eddie Howe and he says, "Oh no, I'm happy to have 0," I'd be asking questions to him. I don't know a single manager in world football that wouldn't take a player. So 100% he would want one. I definitely think he'd be disappointed there isn't anybody in. But as Mark's right in saying, there's a long time to go. You know, it's not as if it's the 1st of August tomorrow. There's a long time. For me, the only thing I'm trying to, I maybe haven't articulated myself well enough, is that the level of team that we are now, right, Champions League and all the rest of it, the players that we're going to go for are obviously going to have interest from elsewhere. And that's why I think you've got to act as quickly as you can. Yeah. And the club might have done that, by the way, and it's just one of them, and it is what it is. But I just feel if you can get in there quickly, because once you start fannying on, then when Chelsea or your Man United come in, which did annoy us that them got Bemo, or they're going to, we're lost because we can't compete.
And I think that is we clearly have tried to act early on those because we have been linked with them for well over a month now when you look at it, but then we can't agree a fee on it because there is a limit to what we're willing to pay and what we can pay. And
I would agree.
You then look at the two that we're talking about, Man United and Chelsea, they 100% do not have those limitations in place because of the revenue that Man United generate. They're the highest generating club in the country, if not the world. And then Chelsea have obviously jumped through every loophole possible to make sure that their coffers are full.
When Man United lost that final, though, everyone in Man and his dog I was reading loads of press. Oh, they've lost this, they've lost that. Revenue's dropped.
All they've got it for sale.
They've got to pay Adidas because they haven't made the Champions League. Next thing you know, bang, they went and spunked however much on Cunha, and then they're going to buy a Bremo. I mean, it's frustrating, right? It just frustrates us. That's all I think. But it's not real.
And again, that is because of the rules that they can go out and do that. Yeah. But then you then have to sack 100 people in the training ground and behind the scenes and stuff to be able to pay that. So you're robbing Peter to pay Paul because ultimately they want that success and to be able to bring those players in. We just don't have that luxury as things stand.
Do you find it a bit strange, a little bit, that like Alanga, for example, will bid 45 for him, I think it was. It's just flat rejected. Like, and I'm not a football scout now, am I? But like, surely you know what that club wants. Surely the negotiations have happened to a degree where you can go, well, I had this problem with Gahey, right? Where how many times have you got to go back and get knocked back? You surely have your negotiations, you've had talks in the background. What are you going to accept for this player? And I just feel like we're trying to undercut everyone.
I think it's probably just more of a test the water sort of thing to see how a club is doing at that point with the likes of the PSI issues. I think that could have been a possibility. Earlier on, we're saying, well, if they're a bit short of cash and they need to bring some money in, similar to what we did with Anderson last time around in Minty, that we had to sell a player. They could have just tested the waters with that. I might be completely wrong, but it could have been. I think now that as of July comes around, I think you'll probably see Newcastle go in with another bid, even if that's just another 5 million on top. Just because obviously you've got that leeway now, that could be a possibility. I think that initial Langer bid was just test.
Do you think you
the
go
waters.
back to this game where it's like 55, 50, then 55? then-
That's the
You'll
concept.
100% that. And again, to your point, that would have always happened. We just would never have known about it in the past because you wouldn't have had that running commentary of information getting leaked and put backwards and forwards, stories being generated by the press. Because
But how many times do you read? I've read it so many times that personal terms have already been sorted.
and that's
But
because,
sure, I understand. But surely, if them have spoken to that guy's agent, that agent must know how much that club value that player. They must know. If they don't sack your agent,
Well,
then
Trafford's a prime
they will.
example.
so what we're messing around for? then?
100% will.
Why we're bidding Snickers and a tenner when they actually want a Rolls Royce?
Well, no, because the agent will be saying this is what we need. This is what we think will get done. But if that clubs don't want to sell that player, like if somebody came to us and said,
No, I understand.
we'll here's £60 million, we want Bruno. Are we going to accept that?
No, but I would imagine Bruno's agent's not going to bid 60 million. Newcastle accept that. I would imagine he'd say they'll stick their fucking fingers about you. That's what I would expect.
Yeah, but it's
the same as the Gay
same
thing.
The club are saying,
I'm
and just
annoyed
like
now.
Gay was saying, was that the club are saying he's not for sale.
I
He's
get
trying to
I
be
understand
moved
that.
on by the agent, not the club. So unless you come in with like the Pedro situation with Chelsea,
So you think Alanga's agents went, I think if you bid 45, you've got a chance.
I think it's very rare.
no,
though,
they'll be looking at market value and
I
stuff
think
like
it's
that
very
as
rare
well.
that a club will even accept the first bid, even if it's asking price.
No, because they want to get as much money as
Yeah.
they possibly can.
And
No.
I'm also not saying we'll go over there and just spend 70 million. I'm not saying that.
No, but you're
I'm not
not.
saying
But there's a hell of a lot of people are.
Well,
if it'll cost you that much to
no,
do
you
it,
can't.
just do it.
I
You
understand
can
that. No, you can't.
and that's the
I'm with you on that.
common sense of it. But people just it is an emotional thing to talk about because there is frustration. You do just want to see business getting done, but you've got your hands are tied by the balance books and what a player is worth. Yes, if you've got that additional capital to be able to go out and say, well, we rate him at 45 million, but if it takes another 15 million to get it done, bearing in mind Chelsea have had to give Pedro was it 7-year deal?
Yeah, 7
Yeah,
years.
it's a
So
little
that
7-year
they
deal,
can
yeah.
then spread that cost. So suddenly 15 million over 7 years on top of what they're paying isn't a huge amount when you spread it like that.
Imagine getting a 7-year contract, man. Like on that money.
I don't want.
Jacob Murphy got one, didn't he?
I don't.
Was it 7 years?
I don't want
was.
us to do that stuff. Like, if I'm honest, like,
It's
I just
Portuguese.
think if
Hodgson and
you
Woodman.
get a player that's on huge money, right? I mean, what's he going for? Sorry, what's his wage? Has it been sort of announced? Or?
It's gonna be. You would think imagine.
You would think
120,
around about
150.
Nah, I don't think it'll be that much. I think it'll probably be around about 100 mark.
Well, I think that's what we were. I think we had this discussion a few weeks ago. He was on 45, wasn't he, or 42?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I said we're looking at that type of range player, so we can double his wage.
It almost doubled everywhere you went. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he's going to go to 100. But I just feel 7 years for a player like that. Like, if it doesn't work out, you're carrying him. Who's the other winger they got, man? Remember they spent a fortune on him.
Mudryk.
Yes, and they give him the earth.
Well,
And it was-
is he? Did he
I
not
think
get
he might be away now, actually. Like, but
locked up or something for?
whatever.
Yeah, did they not? His contract got scrapped, didn't it, or
Yeah.
something?
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
God,
I'm
they
sure
got look
it
at
did.
it,
I'm
didn't
sure
they?
there's something dodgy in the
I'm
scrapped
sure
his
he's-
contract.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
something
might be
to do with-
completely wrong, but
His
somebody in the
Was it his
comments will tell.
performances? No, but you know what I mean. If you lock yourself in with a player that and it doesn't work out or whatever, but
But again,
it's
there's
just
less risk to the club doing that.
financially.
So there's been a comment in from a couple of people that the 7-year thing doesn't exist. They've restricted it 5 years now. So you get away with it all the
I know that, but his contract's for that length of time. But the amortization
Yeah,
is
something
over
like
5 years.
Mudryk got banned for drugs for doping.
Yeah, I knew it was something like that.
How can your doping be that bad? Bloody hell!
He is a
He
dope.
needs to come back if he's drug dealer.
Was it not
Goodness me.
recreational drugs as opposed to performance enhancing?
It could not be performance, could it?
Is drugs doping, not performing? Is that not what it is? Performance when it's. I'm sure it is.
I thought doping was performance.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the word I would use.
Yeah,
for
it's
it.
like what's his face, the cyclist. What was he called?
No, but like Bosnich got done for
He's the worst
cocaine,
in
didn't
Armstrong.
was it? I don't know.
You ever seen the documentary on that?
Nah.
No, it's really good. 30 for 30, ESPN. It's really good. Okay.
But it's the fact that it is, it's not July yet. I'm not.
Tell us
I'm
when
not panicking.
Tell us when you. I'm not saying panicking, but when will you be sweating as much as you want now?
100%. As like I said before, if we get the 1st of August, then I'm.
Oh, so you think 1st of
then
August?
then I'm very, very twitchy.
I think
by
if
that
we
point.
if we jet off for pre-season, where we're going, Korea, and where else we're going?
Give us the date when that
Somewhere
happens.
else.
Give us the
Well,
date.
That's 3
3 weeks, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm panicking on that point, and I think Eddie Howe will
Yeah,
not be impressed.
And
at
that's
that point.
why I think, and look, that's only my opinion, is when he's saying he wants to get it done early, is meaning early so that he can have them together for pre-season training, integrate them in, because it literally we would have been buying a player and paying him to be on holiday.
And historically, we haven't done business early.
No,
we haven't done business early.
nobody does, and that's why I'm saying that the Club World,
some do.
Some
yeah,
do.
but the Club World Cup has been a complete anomaly this time around, where players are moving clubs so that they can go and play in that. They've signed Pedro now so that they can go and get him in there for the last 2 games.
Well, middle of July, I'll not be panicking, but I'll be.
That's when you want to have it done by, so that they can link up with the teammates, they can get into pre-season training, they can go out on the tour of the Far East and integrate that way, and they're ready to hit the ground running.
I just feel we'll have got a lot of work to do, and there's not much time, if I'm honest. But fingers crossed that the scouts will have a lot of people on their list. There's no doubt about it. Yes, we've had 2 kicks in the balls, but there's other players out there. There's other players out there.
You might be happy with 4th on the list if it's a right winger and Semenyo, though.
Well, that'll be a lovely fourth choice.
I did a video last week focusing on 5 players. It was, let's see if I can remember. It was Elanga, Semenyo, Buyako, Kouros, and Pedro. Those are the 5 players. And looking at stats, Decker,
my mate,
Semenyo's up there.
He's really good, man.
From last season, he put in a shift last season.
He's amazing. Yeah, and he can also play on the other side of the field as well, which he actually did against us. He's a very, very good player. But
when I've been doing the research as well, he's very similar.
I don't know. Research.
I know. I did some research. I know. He's very similar to. Let us finish though before you bite me head off. Jacob Murphy in regards to what he does out of possession as well.
I mean, working hard.
Yeah, he grafts his arse off, and it's something which Murphy was praised by Eddie Howe, wasn't he, last season, saying the work he does off the ball goes unnoticed when we don't have the ball. Apparently, he's very similar.
I still have this slight concern, as much as I love Cement, I do, and that's who I'd want, is you're getting this inverted inside forward business going on where it's more congestion coming into the middle of the pitch. Whereas I do love with Murphy that it's going to be going on the outside. We've got kind of a balance of Gordon doing it left or Barnes, and then Murphy staying out wide like a more traditional right winger, which I do love. And let's be fair, right? That link up between him and Isak is proven in the numbers. Yeah. Whereas if you sign Semenyo, you're kind of getting the same thing on both sides in terms of coming inside, which I hate saying that.
And a lot of Murphy's assists have come from him putting crosses in,
getting the
ball across and stuff like that. I mean, the club's released the video today on YouTube of Murphy's 23 goals and assists, and a lot of them are coming from there. There's a lot that I forgot about where he has done very, very well with his assists and finishes like this.
This
season.
He's got a wonderful
Murphy.
Yeah. He's got a wonderful cross. I can't deny that. If you give him any time, he puts it inside. God, I was gonna say he's on me back here. He's not quite Beckham-esque, but it's good though, right? It's good. You know what I mean? I would love Semenyo, but I also think again this is another problem though. I feel like if you went for him, right? Can you imagine the amount of other players? And I think I put this, other teams that would come in for him. And I think I put it in the group the other day that I kind of feel we're going to do our business abroad. I feel like we've tried for a couple that are within our league already, and we're going to get outbid or whatever it is, financially outmuscled. And I think we might end up going for an option abroad that is maybe cheaper and we can get it.
Yeah, and you do, in most cases, get more for your money shopping in the foreign territories and doing it that way. The bit that you don't get with it is obviously them being used to the style and the way and the pace of playing in the Premier League, which is something that we do tend to always look at. Is can that player, I might have saying that, can they hit the ground in the Premier League? But we all know that Eddie Howe likes to take the time with a new signing and blood them in. I think
it'd probably be different with a Premier League proven player, because who's the last? Signed Hall, but he didn't really have many.
Dan Burn was just in
straight in.
He was straight in because he's got Premier League, and I think Semenyo he ain't getting bedding in for now. He's just
straight in,
and that's why I'm hoping the right winger we get isn't a one that is Imagine him in a few years' time, how good he'll be. No, I want the player to be now. That's what I would
just because this question's only just came in. I do want to apologize to everybody that's commenting on YouTube. I don't know why it's showing up your YouTube usernames rather than your actual display names. I don't think it's anything from our side. I guess it's YouTube just being a bit of a tit at the minute. So apologize. I can't say who's reading these questions out because I don't know your names because we've got your YouTube usernames. But there's a question based on this, and it says, "All right, lads, why do you think we are seemingly afraid to shop abroad?"
I don't know if it's being afraid of shopping abroad because we've definitely done it, haven't we? With Tonali, Bruno, Isaac,
Botman,
of course, yeah. It is just that I think there's a bit of we've looked at young English or British talent and bringing them into the club and bringing them that way, and also looking at the Premier League proven experience or ability, but as and when a player becomes available, that will absolutely, take the team forward. I don't think we're adverse to looking at in foreign fields. It's just
there is a comment that came in there from Craig Lee. I know that one. He says Amanda and Meridad pushed for foreign players. Do you think it's changed since they've left? And since that, because let's be honest, Eddie Howe has since obviously what we've seen with Mitchell leave as well. It looks like Eddie Howe does love shopping in the English market. I don't think there's any secrets about that.
I think that's a bit harsh to say that because
the players
we also went and signed when they were here a hell of a lot of players from abroad. I know obviously Trippier's English, but we bought him from Spain. Botman that were mentioned.
I think we're pushing it. I know he's came from Atletico, but I think we're pushing it. I think overall he's looking for the English players. Looks like Lloyd Kelly. He was Eddie Howe signing 100%, and Eddie Howe signing. Look at Gay that will try to buy. Look at the players that we're all linked with now. There's really been no concrete evidence to say we've been interested.
Also, the English players there though.
No, but
Premier League players.
He means Premier League based in this country. That might be.
You'll know those players better from.
Yeah, I'm with Mark in the sense of like we're both Bruno, right? We're both Tonali, we're both Isak. That we're all. I wouldn't say an unknown. Obviously, I didn't know them. They were household names to me, but I mean, there was still a bit of a gamble there. Yes, we all know Bruno could be this player. We all knew Isak had potential, but there was always a case of can he do it?
Yeah.
I think as if the club have maybe got the philosophy of we've done that, we've getting the players that have became great, and I feel as if they now want players that have got experience to physically come in and hit the ground running. And that's not to say Bruno and Isak didn't hit the ground. I'm not saying that. Bruno was amazing from day dot, right? It doesn't always work as smoothly as that, though, does it?
I took Tonali, and obviously I know there was the ban, but even by the first game, he played a few before the suspension, and he struggled.
Oh, and
even
we
last season when he came back, it didn't quite work out. So it's.
I was so glad we put him in that play, but I kept saying that we needed to change his position, and we did. But anyway, but I think our hand might be forced soon enough because let's just hypothetically say they do bid for something. I say they did, right? And again, it's another one that we'll lose out to. You've then got to. I'm afraid you've got to then move up. Mind you, depending on how long your list is, Chelsea, Man United, and Tottenham, they can't buy everyone. So eventually there'll be one player that
Chelsea can.
You know what I mean?
Well, Chelsea are going to have to start selling some players soon as well. So
linked with Martinez, weren't they today? Goalkeeper.
Well, yeah.
So we might get Trafford.
Yes, hopefully, yeah.
But he's available on a free, isn't he, Martinez?
I think we'll be okay. I think it's been frustrating. That's what I'll say. It's been frustrating.
I agree.
But I'm still positive though.
If we look at the players that we have been linked with, so likes of, let's say, Trafford, Alanga, and Pedro. Okay, those are the three players I would say that we've been targeting and had interest and put bids in for. Are they underwhelming?
Yeah, for me they are. Yeah, I didn't really want Pedro anyway, so I'm not particularly bothered we didn't get him. It's just
I was other side of the fence with Pedro.
Why did you want him?
I just thought we need a player that can play as backup to Isak, but also fill in other positions as well. And I thought he would have been perfect. My only issue was the no dickhead policy that Eddie Howe has.
And he is, yeah.
If he passes that or not.
I'm not underwhelmed because I think Trafford will be a very good signing if we can get that over the line because of his age, his ability. You know, he will be the next England goalkeeper long term. You know, if he continues to develop the way that he does. So, like we've done with Tino, like we've done with Hall, if we can get him at this point and bring him in and give him regular football and see him continue on the trajectory that he's on, that's a hell of a bit of business. Alanga, again, he's a good player. I like him.
You won't for long.
I wouldn't have. No, I think he's
screaming my yeah by September.
Oh, definitely does a lot more than the other fella, but he wouldn't be my first choice. But the first choice is not going to be available. Yeah. There's probably then looking at other people that we've been linked with. He probably still wouldn't be my second choice. I'd probably prefer Kudos if I'm being honest.
Really,
of what we're being linked with.
Wow.
But
I love him as well, like, for obvious reasons.
It's I don't. I you know what it is? Pedro wouldn't, not for the reasons that you said with Isak, but just for him he's completely different to anything that we've got.
And I think he can play across the front three as well.
Yeah, it does niggle in my head a bit, and we've talked about it a few times when we've been discussing them, and being predominantly left-sided, and the fact that we've already got Gordon there, we've got Bonds there. Could that potentially mean that one of them goes because you can only fit one of them into the team at any given time? Yeah. And I know the pair of them had to share the limelight a bit last season with injuries, suspensions, that kind of thing. But it's more that, I don't want to say 10, but like in between the midfield and attack, where I would see Pedro doing something different for us because we don't have anybody that can do that. But I'd much prefer we go out and sign players that we just haven't been linked with, we haven't heard anything about, because it does then come as surprising. And
similar how the Tonali deal got done.
Like Tonali, Bruno to some extent.
I thought Isak was like that.
Isak came out completely because literally we'd been interested. He wasn't for sale. Bang, all of a sudden, let's get it done.
We did this stuff. Yeah.
So if things like that, and again, it then doesn't also give other teams to be able to jump in and break the deal. So you almost hope that there's also a bit of an element of smoke and mirrors from us as a club as well, of that when, you know, we're being linked with players in the press, is that let those links happen, because while the press are talking about that and linking with this player, that player, and the fees, we're over here on the other side doing some business and talking to other clubs.
Well, I think the players that have been linked, especially the likes of Alanga, I would say Eddie Howe would look at that player and think, I can get more from him. So I think they're looking at players that, yes, they've done well in the league, but I would expect Eddie to get more from them as well. Similar to what we've seen from a lot of the squad that we have at the minute.
Well, he can do that, can't he? He's got a proven track record of improving players. I always remember, was it Amanda was saying when he got the job, or when he did his presentation interview, it was not about who he wanted to bring in to improve the team. It was what he felt he could get out of the existing, which is an amazing thing, right? You'd probably
say every single player is improved.
I'd have to agree with that, yeah. I think as well, I think there's a lot of focus, you know, on this right wing, and there's a lot of focus on, someone Fisak. There's a lot of work needs to be done in centre half as well, I feel, because I understand we're good what we've got, but we need backups there as well. So that's another area of the field, which that's where maybe a surprise might come up, because where everyone's focused on Alangas in that of the world, and bang, the centre half sit down.
Do you think this is why we're possibly struggling to sell players as well? Because if we sell a player, we wouldn't then not just need another body in. It's two bodies that we need in certain positions, like centre back. Look at, I don't know, like look at Lascelles. Lascelles is probably down the pecking order with centre backs at the moment, isn't he? So let's say if we sell him, that's not just one body, that's another one. Then even through Lloyd Kelly, he wasn't replaced.
I was going to say you've lost Kelly as well. That's another body. For all I didn't like him, but
so there's two, three.
Still a body, right? Yeah. You can't. You kind of just get rid of bodies for getting rid of them sake. And I know I've been guilty of saying I think we should move him on, but I have always tried to caveat that with, well, you got to bring someone in though as well, right? You know what I mean? That's what I mean by that. I think there's a lot of work to do. I feel there's a lot of work to do, but because it's not just about the forward line; it's your centre half as well. But to Mark's point, actually, to go back to Trafford, I do agree. I think Trafford will be a good signing.
I was talking to a lad at work who's a Burnley fan today, and he said, "Give it a couple of months, and you'll all be on his back."
Well, we do that with a lot of players, if I'm honest. So, I remember on a stag do. It was when we were first linked with him. I think I was in Dublin. I can't remember where I was. I can't remember which one it was. No, it might be in Germany actually. And there was Burnley fans there for their own stag, and we were talking to them, and them all saying the same. Like they were saying, "You'll love him at the start, and then you'll be on his back." And I was like, "Oh well, fair enough."
Do you think so? So let's say if we do get that deal done, and fingers crossed we do, because like I said, I think we would have majorly fucked up if we don't. Does he start, Mark?
No,
I agree. Yeah,
I don't think he goes straight in. I think you would play this season, particularly the cups and stuff like that. But I think he would. But bear in mind, we don't know what will happen with the keeper situation.
Yeah.
But
I think if Pope stays,
I think if Pope will be number one if he stays. Yeah,
I think Pope starts number one.
Yep.
But by the end of the season, he isn't.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I think. I think eventually.
And I wouldn't be shocked. And I think we mentioned this. That, obviously, you weren't. Yeah, Bessie mentioned this, that you wouldn't be surprised to see Pope get moved on. Trafford come in, be first choice, Dubravka stay as second choice.
Yeah, I think that would, again, if that was
next season, sorry,
a longer term plan, because I mean, Dubravka, left because he wanted to get first team football, given his age and stuff like that. But we're another year down the line. He played a bit of football last season. He's not getting any younger, and I know he's a goalkeeper, so you've got to take that with a pinch of salt because they do go on for a lot longer.
It's funny that, wasn't it? Because he was going to go to Saudi, waved to the fans saying bye.
Yeah.
Well, then stayed and gave him a new contract and never played him again.
World Cup final after he did so well.
But then you've got bloody Vlachodimos and Pliers as well.
That was his last Instagram going, life sometimes isn't fair.
Life isn't fair.
So there's definitely we need to move on. We need to move on at least one of the keepers.
No, I absolutely agree. It needs freshened up. I just think Pope, contrary to what I've heard from other places, but I think Pope will stay and will start as number one, but I think there'll be a time during the season where Trafford will get his chance and then might just then run with it. And then that's it. That's what I think anyway. But I'm going to...
And again, it comes down to being in the team on, how you perform when you're in it. You form, you're there on merit because you deserve to be. Dubravka kept his shirt for a long time, but obviously then when it came to the crunch at the end of the season...
I'll tell you something, right? I'd have a feeling we're going to sit here on a Monday night in the future, right, where I've criticised Pope about like RoboCop when the ball comes towards him, seizes up, and and then we'll get Trafford in because he loves to play around with it, and a foot on the ball, rolling it around, do a mistake,
like falling his
he might do a couple, during the season, then we'll be like, why doesn't he just get rid of it, and I just think we have to be patient there, I think, because if that's what we want, we criticise Pope for not doing that. Mm-hmm. We'll have to stay true to that, and if a mistake comes along the line, it's a big step up for him, right? I know he's had a fantastic time at Burnley, certainly last season, brought in the championship record for clean sheets, which I know is not just him, it's his defence.
Yeah, the last season that they were up, he didn't have a great time.
He didn't. But hopefully, he would have developed.
Well, it's another 2 years down the line,
exactly, yeah. So I would, listen, I'd be happy with that one.
Is it a sign that excites you, Deck, or was it just one where you think, well, this should have been done last year?
Well, no, I am getting sick of hearing about it. I'm not going to lie.
Both, isn't it? Is the answer.
Yes, it is both, yeah. The reason why it does excite us, though, is because I do feel the way the game is moving on, I do feel you need to be keep possession like that as a goalkeeper. You just have to have a super keeper. I just feel to become a good side and become what we want to try and become, I think you need a goalkeeper that can play that way. Now, obviously, you still got to be good at his day job. He can be like Ronaldinho if he wants to be on the ball, but
he's still a good shot stopper.
Yeah, absolutely.
I worry more about the commanding of his area because that is something that Pope is very good at. It helps that he's 7'9".
Well, that's what I thought he struggled with in company setup when he came up. He couldn't seem to command his area. Crosses were coming, he couldn't get near them. But we'll see. But Mark's right as well. He's future England number one here. So we could have a team here. England's number one. 2 fullbacks starting every week. Skelly might be in there, but you don't know. We'll have the nucleus there of a really good, exciting English side type of thing.
I agree. Shall we go through some questions?
Absolutely.
If anybody's got any questions, send them our way. We do have some already.
Just on that point though, of having a very good young English side. there was a very good English side played this last week. Oh,
Yeah,
another back-to-back title.
Amazing, eh?
they've done so well in that tournament. Like each game, they put in a different performance and absolutely smashed it.
I do want to mention him. My boss, he'll not be watching, but he's mentioned this guy's name for weeks now. Harvey Elliott. He wants
again with us, wasn't
he wants to sign him, and I've always liked him. To be fair, I have honestly when I've watched him, like he's tenacious, he's good on the ball, and if he's wanting to leave Liverpool like a game time and stuff, it was they're talking about 30 million or something like that. For me, that is just a absolute no brainer.
If he's going to be a one that would be in demand because he
true.
had a very, very good season.
He's class. He's good. He was good in the tournament as well.
He was fantastic.
Good player.
Elliot Anderson as well. I thought he was fantastic.
Amazing.
The entire tournament.
The more I see Elliot Anderson, the more devastated I am that we were forced to sell him. Like
I sat, honestly, I swear to God, I used to sit here. You knew there was a player there. You just knew there was a player in there because he could use both feet. His movement was great. He was a great player. I just knew he was going to be a great player. I was gutted when I lost him. Like
so, that's a question which Ian sent in. He says, anyone from the under 21s that you would like the look of? Anderson.
Isn't it mad to think? Like, imagine if we didn't have him and we're linked with him now. How
I know.
we'd be like, wow,
bring him home.
I said it last week. I like Konza.
He's all right.
I just don't think they'll let him go. But there isn't a player in that team that hasn't looked fantastic.
I don't know where these £30 million sort of figures came for Harvey Elliott, but if that is true, I think it's maybe went up a bit. Like after that tournament,
that's a low valuation,
isn't it? Yeah.
Considering that's what we're paid for Tino and Hall.
God, it is 30 million.
Like 30 million just is almost a standard type of fee. Like Anderson was the same. Minty was the same. It's almost that starting figure, isn't it?
Delap went for that, didn't he, to Chelsea? About that one.
It was a bit more than that.
It was not release clause though.
Fair, actually, I think it was.
Because there was a couple of teams did business early on, likes of Delap and Cunha going to Man U. That was a release clause as well.
Yeah, it was
for his contract. Because a lot of people are like, but they've done the business straight away. Well, release clauses are slightly different. Like, let's go through some more. See that sigh because we just finished talking about Elliot Anderson. Honestly, it breaks me heart. Absolutely breaks me heart. Because he's an absolute player. Like he really is.
Yes.
And he highlighted it in there. A random question for you, Decker. Were you in Primark this afternoon?
I was, yes. Yeah.
You've been spotted.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Decaffer.
I went
buying underpants and socks.
I did buy socks actually, and I bought 3 new t-shirts.
Somebody's coming in saying, Decker, were you in Primark this afternoon? I thought it was you, but wasn't sure enough to go and ask.
Well, you should have come over. Yeah.
So just shout, we'll win you now, and you'll turn round.
Yeah.
When I was at the Sam Fender gig a couple of weeks ago, 2 people that came over. One of them I was at the bar and just went, "We'll win you now, lean over the bar."
Class, man.
Like who thought that would have ever stuck?
God. It was the one night I hosted the show because it was just me and you, wasn't it, in the Ashley pub. And I had no idea how to end the show. So I just went, "We won you now." And to be fair, we didn't win much then. So it was a celebration, that one.
Jules said Primark, not the club shop, but you would have been in there today as well.
I did go in the day. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I haven't been actually. You'd be surprised. I haven't been as often as I normally have. I don't know why. I just haven't went in.
I went in last week, and upstairs is nothing except home kits.
Yeah,
there's not a thing upstairs except home kits.
Just so many.
The entire floor.
Be like a horror show. That,
but
it really is. It is.
The scene have got rid of a hell of a lot of
crime
stuff.
scene.
Like there's no Adidas range, and like as in like the t-shirts and clothing
on the left when you go up there.
So when you used to go upstairs,
just on the
used to be on the left by itself, didn't it? Gone.
Sure, I've seen the video.
So downstairs was where they've got all of the club merchandise.
They've got
all the retro kits, i.e. the ones not without
non-branded stuff.
The price of that as well, it's out of this world.
It's rotten.
It's out of this world.
It's rotten.
There was loads of tops I had down there, right? And when I went upstairs, that like I did the official Adidas, it was cheaper than that.
Yeah, it's
I think, come on, have a word with yourself.
So you can only assume that there's a lot of brand new gear incoming.
They're just opening up some space really on there.
For what's coming.
For what's coming. Which we've seen, which we will talk about in a couple of questions' time. There is a question from, there's one from Josh, but we'll come back to Josh because Josh always sends in one that's not football related as well. So we'll come back to your donation. But thanks for that, Josh. Let's have a quick look. This one's from Adam Beckett. That says, do you lads think the unsettled CEO and sporting director situation is hurting the transfers? We mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, and I think you said it probably wouldn't affect it.
It won't, because of the whole, not in identifying the targets and agreeing on them and stuff like that. The point where it will make an impact. The director of football, not so much, because they're more looking at the overall, the direction that the club's going in, all of the stuff with academy, behind the scenes and that kind of thing. The Darren Eales one, probably a little bit more, because he would have been involved in negotiations and wages and all of that kind of thing. So, but he's still there at the minute.
Do you know what it is? I think it'll be affecting us more than what we think. I just think it needs some leaderships at some point. And do we have that at the moment? It still seems a bit of a shambles.
Yeah, but if you think back to the documentary when it was the Gordon transfer, wasn't it? You saw how many people were involved in that, and I think ultimately it showed that. And you saw Amanda was the one that had the almost that final say on whether the deal gets done or not, because she was the one saying let's just hang off a minute and play a little bit of hardball. But then she ain't there, right? No. So the whole idea they brought Mitchell in is to have a new vision, he would have been the guy, right? Yeah. So taking him away. No, you could be looking at it in the angle of, we haven't signed anyone, we've lost 2 targets that we went for, it's because Mitchell's not here. It's easy to paint that picture. 2 add 2 equals 4, right? But that doesn't always work that way. I would like to think that the targets that we're going for, even when Mitchell was there, Howe has had an influence or a discussion around those targets. So probably those targets don't change. They're just, no, even if Mitchell's not there, it doesn't really matter. I don't think. And they've came out and said that as much, that it's a group decision between the scouting staff. Mm-hmm. He ultimately has a say on whether he wants them in the team and whether he thinks it's the right person. The commercial side of things around whether or not they can afford them and all of that kind of stuff. So it's a dream job, isn't it? Like, really? Like, you just, who do you want, mate? What are these for? Right, okay, you 3, go and watch them play football. Give me a report back and I'll tell him how good they are. Mate, he's shy, he's canny, he's good. Which one do you want? He wants one of them ones. It's the best job in the world. I would stay at home and put it in chat GBT, mate. Big lady. Well, there's loads of companies that exist that do that, just like the stats one and stuff like that. Just look at a player and look at all of their stuff. Yeah, there'll be different formats that you can use, So it's, I think, long gone, and obviously it will still happen, but long gone is the hours travelling up and down the country, standing in the piss and down rain, watching players. That will still happen, but a lot of the recruitment now is done from data. Yeah. And that'll be why, people are saying money in this. People they'll look at that data. What is this player's trajectory? What's their kind of their market value? How much that they're on and stuff like that. And that's what then gets worked out whether or not it makes business sense that we can go and sign them, because you'll already have identified that whether they'll improve the team or not. Yeah, of course. It's business-wise. Can we afford them? Will they go into the club? And then Howe's looking at it as well. How will then, develop in the squad? How will they get on with the players? Yeah. What's their temperament like? Because, we've seen it at the club at the minute. Everybody just gets on with each other. Uh-huh. There's a real kind of team ethic there. And results help as well, eh? When you're winning games of football and you're winning a trophy and blah, blah, everyone loves each other, everyone's a family. It's when normally results aren't going your way when the cracks start to show, right? It happens, right? It's the way football is. What I would say though is I remember when Dan Ashworth left, because I always thought when we got him, I thought, wow, this is like a really great move. When we lost him, I had the same opinion I've just said now, actually, of, it's all right, because these targets would have already been decided. What I have a bit more of an issue with is the longevity of what the plans are of the club. Yeah, we're so many years down the line here since Dan Ashworth in a way, if you think of him coming in, and we're still really in that position now because we've lost Mitchell now. So it's like we need to get somebody in to really map out what the future is. We're almost just fighting window to window now with a bit of a scrape up plan type of thing. We are in the first team, But then you look at everything that's happening behind the scenes with the development of the academy, with the development of the training ground, with the amount of young players and young talent that we're signing. That for me is
we
a
have
big
invested
part of
heavily.
And that's a big part of the director of the football role to me is identifying your future talent.
But then
and
we've
your
got to
future
trust Shola to send them out on loan to decent clubs.
Well, quite amazing.
Let's hope.
Career
But I mean,
would you expect something on the stadium announcement? By the way, do you think you would have expected something by now?
100%.
I think the same.
The thing that me and Mark went about the stack, the way they were talking as if it was you were going to get some announcement in the coming weeks, wasn't it? And that was months. That was like November or something.
But they did also talk about not underselling the value of it. So I think that there's probably a case where there has been interest, but it just hasn't been the right figures. I mean, people will say, well, any figure's better than nothing, but it's not. Again, if you're wanting to grow your brand, you don't want to say, accept, I'm just going to chuck figures out there. I'm not going to accept 50 million for it, because then next year we might only get 60 million. Whereas realistically, one want to be getting 100 million, whatever.
No, I get it. I just, I mean, I know as I laughed and joked about, it took me all this time to sign Trafford. We're in talks when his mum fell pregnant to get Trafford in. So I understand the stadium's a huge thing. I understand it's a lot of money. There's a lot of decisions need to be made. I just thought there would have been something. I'm not saying this is where we're moving to. Just
we're staying or going.
Yeah, either we're staying or going, or we've run into a few problems. I don't know. Just maybe a bit of communication, but just surprising.
But once again, does that not go back down to? Well, then again, Eels is there, so he'll be the one that you would expect it to come from, and he's still there. Yeah,
to be honest, I'm actually surprised he stayed as long as he has, and I'm pleased with that, because he must be healthy enough to do so, right? Which he sells the most important thing, paramount to anything else. But when I remember the announcement came out of the issue that he has, I thought, it won't be too long then. He'll hand over to summer, but he's still there running it.
The club are actively recruiting for the I mean, it was even on LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I applied.
Swift, no. I've got my interview next week.
Fucking God help us.
Sack them all.
But it's
wingers. We don't need any.
There's also a bit with that as well. If it's somebody that's at an existing club, there's the whole negotiation around that, around getting them to leave. Will the club allow them to come away and stuff like that?
That's true. Yeah.
So
there's a lot of work needs done, isn't there?
100%.
If you think of it, even away from the playing side, there's a lot of stuff needs to be done.
People don't think about that or appreciate the amount of moving parts that there is in doing.
And I'll still go back to the job Howe's done. You think if he is the glue that all of these things we've discussed, are all rumblings and they're all things on the background that need fixed or ongoing, and he has managed just to consistently move forward and get results on the field, where there's so many times where it's not perfect behind the scenes, everything goes wrong, doesn't it? Right? It just happens in football. So many times you see it, but that was just me.
He must be, let's say if this window goes and we don't do enough business, let's just say we get 1 or 2 in, he must be getting sick.
Oh, I think we're in big trouble. Oh no, I honestly mean that as well. Tuchel's going to get the bullet, right? He's only there, anyway. I'm telling you now, right? It's like Keegan thing, that one. I'm telling you. I was even pointing like him as well.
I've got some headphones over there.
He's got to go to the viewers and get something. I think that if this is very hypothetical, by the way, because I want Howe to be here forever, and he probably will be. But if we don't back him this time strongly, he is going to have questions about the future.
We've let him down recently over the last couple of
and I know a lot of it's been, my hands have tied, PSR, can't do this, can't do that, can't afford. I get it all, right? But at the end of the day, though, we have let him down, right? And he's worked a miracle. That's what he's done. There's no manager being able to achieve what he has done based on what he's had to financially deal with.
Behind the scenes, it's been horrendous.
Oh, it's been awful. Been horrendous.
Right, let's go through a couple more questions. Before we end it, because we're going almost an hour there.
We've done canny, haven't we, for now to talk about?
We have done well. Ian sends a question, says, did anyone watch the Dan Burn High Performance podcast? If so, what were your thoughts on him on a deeper level and Howe's approach when he wants a player, i.e. phone calls to friends, family, etc.? I watched it last week. I thought it was great. There's a lot of things in there which we had already heard, because Dan Burn had done a lot of interviews after his goal at Wembley and the call over England. He's done a lot of interviews since. But it was great, like Ian said, on the deeper level, hearing about his battles with his mental health issues and things like that. I thought was a great watch. Really, he just seems like mint bloke, to be fair, doesn't he?
Oh, like unbelievable good bloke, isn't he? Like it's funny when you see some people in front of the media, and I'm not saying the struggle, because some people say, oh, they're not media trained or whatever it may be. I feel as if he's exactly the same person in front of a camera as he would be if you went for a drink or you met him in the street. Like, it just doesn't seem any different at any time. But yet, I'm only halfway through it, to be fair. I got interrupted and I meant to come back to it and I did forget, but I've really enjoyed the first half of it. Like, but the guy's a top bloke. There's no doubt about it.
But strangely, I've never really liked him.
I love them. People are watching this for the first time. It's Mod, the chair of the damn.
I am. That's what he's chairman, the founder.
Yeah, that's what his secret meetings are about. He just can't keep up with Dan
me and Dan Burn Appreciation Society.
Just you in a mirror.
No, honestly, amazing, absolutely amazing. He deserves all the plaudits he's getting.
Yeah, that was great. Question from I saw this one before. Where is it? Oh, might as well talk about this. So this one comes in saying, have you all seen the third kit promo video? I watched it just before I left tonight. It was great. I absolutely loved it, to be fair.
Yeah, it's hard to fault it, really. Like, I thought the echoings to the Toyota Jonas were amazing. I loved Tino, the shout from Isak going Tino. I thought it was just really
I was
good.
expecting Livermento. When he went Tino, then he saw him in his fur coat. I was like, oh, man.
I just thought, I mean, the strip is grew on us as well. I don't mind the strip, actually. The collar noise is still.
Don't mind the strip?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Honestly, I thought you would have loved that strip.
Oh, did you?
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. It's nice. It's nice. It's good.
I still think it's rotten.
Do you really?
Yeah,
the collar's bad, man. You
adore it. So we've got 3 different opinions.
The collar's
I
bad.
love it. The collar is very low. It looks like it goes down here.
Well, I don't like how it doesn't end. Like it ends, but it looks like it's just being chopped off
your belly button.
Like, I want just, if you're gonna give us a V-neck,
go wear a medallion with it.
Don't sell it short. Like, if you're promoting V-necks, let's put a V on it. Then the way it's cut off. However, though, the colours, the arrangement from the original is really good. The saddle looks really good on it. Obviously, because they've adapted the colour, of course, which we normally always do. It's very nice.
I love it. Absolutely love it. It's probably one of me. I like this one more than the white one from last season.
Nah, I'm not having that.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me, but yeah.
Do you not think it looks like a kit that's just going to be clicked to bits within 10 minutes?
Oh, probably.
I don't think it will be, though.
It looks like that shiny, cheap materials in it.
Yeah, I'm
it does look good.
I'm
30-year-old, man. I'm not climbing with brick walls and that, man. Like, I'm not a kid anymore. If I click a shirt now, like, God knows what I've been doing. I fell out. Click a shirt.
It'll just be the pizza box against your belly. That'll be the only way it's going to get clicked.
It'll be a pizza
Open the
box.
lid, click.
Garlic lid.
No, that was good. I was in work when it was getting all filmed for the 3 days in town. So you seen like everybody milling going in and out of the Strawberry down to the Irish club and stuff like that. So there was a hell of a lot of people involved in it. Like literally they had the whole car park outside of the club shop was all cordoned up with.
Edited it really well because it actually looks like it's all happening in one place.
Yeah, no, it was over.
Clearly not.
Definitely 3 days, if I remember right.
Unbelievable amount of work that goes into it for a minute. I think it's less than a minute, maybe.
2 minutes.
Was it 2 minutes? Sorry,
yeah. But even once you thought it had all finished, Dan Burn. It was 2 minutes. I thought that bit at the end was just fantastic.
Unbelievable. Really, really good.
How's the bit?
Bruce will straight be in. He'll be in tomorrow. He will be on TalkSport. He will be on some podcast saying, "Oh, the great Dan Burn" or whatever. He'll be there. He'll be there.
Great Dan Burn. I scored at Wembley.
But it was a really funny. There was a nice bit of humour at the end. I thought was class.
It was quite like obviously last season's with the train, with all of the little references and the niche bits. Yeah. There was a lot of that in this announcement as well.
It's the type of one for me that does make you proud of supporting the club. I know it's just a video, it's just an advert, but for me, Mark Knopfler, the local hero, the start of it coming up, and obviously Sam Fender's on there. You've got all of the past. So, and we've always said this, haven't we? That like, because we've been shite for so many years, right? Like we do cling on to people a lot, don't we? Like you can be a hero here quite easily if I'm being honest with you.
You're a bit like a cult hero, yeah.
A cult hero. So that's what I mean, and it is lovely that we're not scared or afraid to still have them moments with those players, like of Toyota, like of Jonas, Tino's turning up. It's just brilliant, you know what I mean? And the last advert we had,
Finola,
that's right.
And that's what I was just going to say, though. Were you not expecting more of the players that were associated with the original kit to be involved in it.
Do
that's what we did
do
with-
you associate any player with that kit? We wore it once.
I'm with him that Stephen Gaybosh for me. He's not going to come back. So like, but or Thomason maybe, maybe. But anyway, that was the point I was going to say. Can you bring John Barnes back? He played in it, didn't he? I'm sure once. So there's not many to choose from, is there? If we're being honest, that's my point of that one. But no,
John Bonds
really, really
squeezed into one of them kids.
it'd be minute if we did that rap
Yeah,
though. No, it was really, really good video, and I think I said this when Adidas came in, that it's just that brand's sort of lift, isn't it, in terms of the promotional side of that.
Yeah,
it's a different game, like, you know what I mean. So
we might as well talk about it now, because I think last season we were all big fans of the likes of the training gear and the retro range, which came out alongside the strips as well. We'll see a little peek of the.
There's a few glimpses of it.
There's a few glimpses of what we're expecting now as well, similar to what we had last season in regards to the green stuff. It's like this season's version of that, really.
It's almost identical in terms of the way the video is set, that they're all standing watching an activity and the clips of
Exactly
it. It's the same thing, really.
I'm not a big fan of it. I want more.
I'm a bit on the.
Don't worry, you'll definitely get more.
Yeah, you will. Like,
73 different releases. There's lots of space in that club shop.
Listen, I'm probably going to buy it all, but for at the moment, for some reason, and I'm really going against everything. When we had this badge discussion, remember about changing the badge?
Yeah.
It has to be the old badge. Just use the old one. What's the matter with the circular badge like that? So then they've went and give us that, and I'm like, I'm not so sure actually, and I don't know if that's because it's too small at the first. I don't know. I
think
I don't dislike it.
What we were chatting before we went live, because it's a circle within a circle.
Yeah, so I did love what you said. So
Circle
explain
inception.
what you said. Would you say what you said?
Because the crest, they've used the old NUFC crest with the magpie at the bottom of it. And what they've done, rather than just putting that on as, like, let's say in white on the black shirt, they've then put a white circle around it with a white background with the black logo within it.
Yes.
And it just looks too much for me. It looks like if you remove the Adidas logo off it, that's downstairs in the club shop.
I would agree with you there. Yeah, I would actually. Yes, I'm more with you that. Do you know the way that the Adidas logo is, where it's
The trefoil.
the trefoil, just and it's just on its own. Just the white on its own. If that was the Newcastle badge on that side, the same, no background on that, just the same white as that. Well, I think you could be talking show business, like. And I actually agree with you when you said that. Like, but
it's all to do with costs, probably. That's what it's down. It's probably cheap. I just put the circle.
It might be a patch.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what it is. But
Have you seen? I've mentioned this already many times. Ben's got it if he's watching. That black hoodie, you would have seen it, right?
see, I hate that one.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely
It's
lush.
got like the collage.
Is that the one with
in
the
it?
green?
No,
stripes on?
That's
it's
the old logo with the
it's
collage
black,
on it, isn't it?
and it's got the programs
The
on the back.
programs
All
on
the
it, yeah.
programs.
All right, yeah,
I think it's lush. But on that one, it's just that. I mean, mind you, have you seen the threading on that? Like it's that thick, man. Oh mate, it's like a burger or something. It's like thick,
like a fishing net.
It's really thick. If you see it, I think it's a beautiful hoodie. Like I feel
There'll
like I've
also
got one on
be
now.
an element of a lot of the stuff that will be coming out will be a template kit again, because we're seeing it with the originals gear we had the season gone. That was all a template as well, because Man United had it, Arsenal had it, Bayern, I think.
Well,
that had it.
I don't know how I seen these, but I seen the Arsenal ones, and I put them in the chat just before. Them had that last season. So what we are getting now on this new advert, them had exactly the same range last season, but it had the cannon rather than our circular badge.
Yeah.
And certainly the t-shirt style are very retro, which is lovely. It is really nice, and I quite like the drill top. The drill top's very. I'd imagine it's going to have the trefoil logo on the back as well. Big, it will. We didn't see it on the video, but they're quite nice as well. They're nice as well. But
I don't think you saw enough in the video to be able to straight away say no, it's crap or it's.
Did you
great. Like the vintage football top? I think you only got like a glimpse of the very.
Well, then if you put it back to this time last year when we saw the video go out, the one where they're playing pool, aren't they?
Yeah.
Everybody didn't even care about the shirt. Everybody's looking at the red gun.
Yeah.
That looks unreal. I want that. Maybe it's because it was the first time Adidas had been in for a long time.
But you saw a lot more of that in that video than you did this one.
The colours of it was all in black and white, wasn't it? If I remember right.
We have to be very fair, right? let's just be fair, and people will probably not be because I know people are very excited. When you see that one last year, the tracksuit bottoms and the shell suit, compared to this one, I'm not criticizing the new
Gordon
one.
was wearing it and everybody
But
went,
goodness
"Love it."
me, that was just a better range.
Yeah,
And that's
screenshots
just
all
it.
over the place.
Yeah, it was the best.
Yeah.
That range was amazing.
Yeah.
The rapper guy in the can't remember his name in
Cass
the
is dead.
Cass is dead. That's the fella
Yeah, he had the long sleeve.
in the long sleeve
right,
original
shirt on it,
top.
Yeah, but there'll be plenty more stuff to come. Of course, there will be. I'm going to end on this one. In fact, no, actually, let's see if I can find that one that I was going to go through before. Here it is. This is a bit of a left field question, and it says,
Yeah, it's good. That,
at what positions did you lads play when growing up playing football?
Left centre half, left back, Dan Burn.
You were centre midfielder, weren't you?
when I really got to a good level, I was actually up front, and then I got a really bad injury, Leeds away, absolutely ruined us, snapped us in half. And I actually then dropped back into midfield, believe it or not. And the reason why is the team I played for was shite, right? But I wanted to play, it was my mates and I was getting a bit on and I hadn't made it. And then I couldn't get the ball. Literally, I couldn't get the ball.
You want to maul the ball.
And I remember, and it was really awful because I remember my dad and I used to come watch it and he was like, "What are you doing? You're not getting the ball at all." So I then went to midfield just so I could get on the ball more. And I loved being in midfield because you're just so much part of the game. You know what I mean? You got to be fit, but
I was on the right wing. That's where I used to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I used to be quite fast when I was younger, so I just used to
You still are quite fat.
I just used to absolutely pelt it down the line.
Yeah. I got moved out there when I played for Shields. Like, they moved us out there because that 2 men centre midfielders. I got moved out right. I just didn't really know how to play the position. Like,
after all those years of watching Beckham.
Well, I think I used to pose too much. I used to try and like deliver the ball. Like, and I was
Doesn't
like,
sound like you at all.
I can't do that. Like,
You're that John Shelby player, aren't you, where you deliver a ball and watch it.
Yes. Ben's watching, actually. If he is watching, I remember we used to play together and we had a tiny little team, right? And I remember when I used to do that, I used to play a lovely ball and he used to go, "Don't watch it." He used to like, "Don't stand and watch it, like get after it," type of thing. I used to do it all the time. Like, I did. I used to like, "What?" I was like, "What a pass that is." Ben would be like, "Get up the pitch."
And finally, as always, Josh has sent in a donation, a £20 donation, and he says, sorry, thanks very much, Josh. Didn't you say thanks? He says, this is probably going to be aimed more at Decker. I think you'll be surprised, Josh. And he says, I know he loves this sort of stuff, but feel free to all answer. What is your favorite non-football related all or nothing series? He says, I recently started the Toronto Maple Leafs one, which is great. I really enjoyed the Toronto one. That's really great. You've not seen that one yet?
I've met
I'll go through the playoffs because Toronto are literally the team that almost get there every single time. So it talks about them winning the cup. Is it the Stanley Cup? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Stanley. Yeah. That's like something like that.
I'll go first because I think I've seen them all. The ones which I like the Cardinals one.
That was the first NFL one.
And I like the one where they followed the college team. The Wolverines.
Yeah, that was the one I was going to say.
It's
Harbaugh, isn't it?
They used to wear orange. Was it orange that they used to wear? Can't remember what they were called. I loved it that much. That was a good one.
There was a massive scandal about that team and that manager, wasn't it? Cheating in that.
Have you seen the mock?
I don't like American sports. So there's a lot of them that just don't interest me at all.
I watch all American
I know you do.
So I don't dislike American sports. I'm not like Decker where I'll sit until 4 o'clock in the morning watching stuff. But I love seeing the behind the scenes sort of stuff.
Yeah, no,
the Michigan Wolverines.
That's the one.
It's really good.
It's really good, that one.
Yeah, it's good.
To Decker's point earlier, the documentary types that I will always watch are around cycling. I absolutely love cycling.
Oh, so have you seen the Armstrong one 30 for 30? That's amazing.
Armstrong was my non-football sporting hero.
And then what happened when that thing hit? When the incident happened?
Until the truth came out.
Did that change you totally?
Yeah, I mean, I still appreciate him. Still got me Live Strong bracelet somewhere.
Yeah, right. So I'll tell you a story about them Live Strong bracelets, right? So obviously we all had them, right?
Miguel Indurain was the boy, though. Absolutely best, greatest cyclist ever.
I will come back to that question. And I remember I seen Beckham, right? I had bought Beckham's new book, right? And there's a picture of him in a Osaka t-shirt, 6, navy. So I went and bought that on the same Saturday when I knew I was going out the night time. Shaved my head because he had just shaved mine.
Shock.
And he had a blue one on, and I'd never seen a blue one, right? On the actual picture, he's like posing, and it's there. and we're in Escape in Shields upstairs having a piss, and I was with my best mate. We were talking about it the other day, and there was a lad having a piss, and he had one on, and I went,
Did a white one as well?
They did, but Beckham had a blue one, and I went, excuse me, mate, and he went, but obviously he's having a piss in here, and I'm like, do you know? And he went, what are you doing? I went, no, I mean the blue thing on the blue.
Oh wait,
I want to buy that off you. He went, no. I went, well, I'll give you a tenner. He went, no. I went, 20 quid. He went, no. 25. He went, I go on then. I mean, like, you've paid £25 for that. I mean, how much was it? 50 pence or something? They were like £1 or something.
No, they were like 250.
250. I paid.
All it was his band
I
again.
paid
Escape as well.
25 quid for this Livestrong blue thing, just because Beckham had one. Back to the question. I have to say I love the Dallas Cowboy ones because I like Dallas Cowboys, and I love seeing this. I think I've showed it to you. I've showed it many times when the drone goes to their new training facility all the way up the road and through. It's just
it takes hours to get through it all.
Hours to get through it all, and stuff like that blows my mind in terms of the size, in terms of the amount.
Huge. You don't realize how big it is. What's the one? Is it the? Who is it? Is the Raiders where they go from one state to another
that's
one?
Right, they go Las Vegas.
That's a really good one because it follows them, because they've got was it 4 trucks following them from stop to stop, carrying all the shit with them until the.
And you've got the Rams one that was similar.
That's another reason I hate American football. The fact that you can just up and move a team.
I totally agree.
Ridiculous.
Obviously, Netflix have now started doing a similar thing, and obviously Matty probably watching the Red Sox, which he loves, and obviously I don't. Them have got one on, but I do want to watch it because it's meant to be mint and stick it behind it. I'd love the Yankees to do one. It would just be amazing. But
I think this is why I was so disappointed with the Newcastle version of All or Nothings, because we see how good
but it
can
wasn't
be.
An All or Nothing though.
All or Nothing, Newcastle United was called, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
I think it was, but I'm
sure it was.
If you type in All or Nothing, it comes up on the thing. But it wasn't. It didn't go into what we really wanted. Did it really? I was expecting exactly what you've mentioned from the examples we've given. Right? It's just now that may come in the future, but it wasn't quite as what I was expecting.
It was all over the shop where you watch the American ones, and it's unbelievable. Like,
I mean, obviously, I've watched Arsenal's, of course, as well, and that is what I wish I was. It's brilliant. Like,
I've watched all of them.
You see the Aubameyang fallout. You see him taking the captain's. Spurs is a good one as well. Yeah. That Mourinho bit when he.
The Spurs, I think the Spurs one's probably the best.
It is really
best
good.
one for me.
Who's the player that he's got in his office?
Danny Rose.
Danny Rose, yeah. That
was brilliant. And I love all the Formula One ones that drive.
They're amazing. I'm going to Grand Prix next week. I'm going to the
GP ones. Anything motorsport related, I'm all over that as well.
And I'm going for my 40th. Believe it or not.
You're not.
I'm going 5 years. I'm going to Grand Prix next week. Cannot wait.
No, as I used to go to the British Grand Prix every year because it was always around my birthday weekend. It's a week early this week.
That's 5 we're going. My dad. I was going to say something there. Mention something. What are you saying? I think it might have been a setup on this one, on the Spurs one, but honestly, I don't think I've laughed that much at one of these shows. It's when he's doing his notes, Mourinho, and he's got Sky Sports on, and they're talking about him, and he says like, Mourinho was obviously past it by now, and he's like, and then he walks over and tells you, "Go shut the fuck up," when he turns it off. It's brilliant, but I don't know if it's a bit of a setup, but if you watch it back, it's one of the funniest. Like, it's really good.
Yeah. Ian says The Last Dance was unreal as well. That was great. Just the clips from the 90s were unbelievable, to be fair. And Rodman was off his tits.
Well, I wish Beckham's was only 4 episodes.
It wasn't great. Beckham's
I wish when I heard he was doing one, I thought, it might be like The Last Dance, but it wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, it was still great to see him just lush. I was just pausing it and just looking at him, but like, it was good.
I'm going to end it there.
Matty's text us, by the way, saying, "I don't love the Red Sox. Great series, though." I thought you did, mate.
I bet he's got a Red Sox cap. That's too
big
for his head.
You've definitely got a Red Sox cap. Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks everybody who has joined us live. There's been over 200 for throughout that one.
Wow.
So thanks very much. Hopefully this time next week we might have a signing to talk about. It'll probably be Trafford, most likely.
Yeah, hopefully.
Why you sound so disappointed when you say that?
Because it's going to be the first week in
Blue Jays. It's even worse. He supports the Blue Jays.
I want to.
I know. It's not that
he does have a Blue Jays cap.
I've
seen him wear it.
I forgot Blue Jays. Didn't like them either. But no, I think it's not that we don't like Trafford at all. It's just when it's took as long as it has, it's just a bit. You're not exactly excited because it's like, well, we know what's happening. Let's move it on next. You know what I mean? Which is maybe bad on our part. But
like the video. Become a subscriber if you'd like to do that as well. Or if you do want to go an extra step further, it is just $2.99 a month to become a member. You will have a new members video go out in, I would say, the next 48 hours. And it is going to be one which went down really well last time we did this. And me and Decker will be looking at Newcastle United kit, official kit, and comparing it to a DH Gate special.
Can you please become members if you're not a member now, just so we can buy some extra fans for this studio? Because it's red.
I just want an ice box to put my feet in.
But you know how much I like the heat.
It's hot for you as well.
This is hot for me.
It's
like.
warm,
This is
like.
warm.
It is warm.
Hottest day of the year. We've got great big lights on to show off our wrinkles. It's warm.
We're in a
here.
box room. We've got no
It's
windows.
in warm.
My balls are stuck to my thighs.
Batwing.
Absolute batwing when I stand up.
See you later. Ta-ra.